Parkinson's disease affects around 10 million people worldwide, and as we saw in our last segment, movement helps. So Ellen Walters here. She is a certified nurse practitioner at the Cleveland Clinic, and you're watching that and you see some of the folks there. Have they improved a lot since that first visit there?
So over time, they will improve. I'm not sure that, it's just started recently, but we expect to see a lot of improvement in balance, in stiffness, slowness of movement. Also with that movement and that exercise, a lot of times it helps their cognition, their memory and thinking.
Yeah.
It can help a lot of these other symptoms that people with Parkinson's have. So I have no doubt over time, exercise is one of the best things you can do.
What exactly is Parkinson's? What is it? What causes it?
Yeah. So Parkinson's is considered a neurodegenerative disease, meaning that there is a progressive degeneration or loss of brain structure or neurological system structure and function. So in the case of Parkinson's disease, that part of the brain is called the substantia nigra, and the substantia nigra makes a chemical called dopamine. So the substantia nigra cells start to get compromised or damaged, and they can even die. And then with that, the loss of function, because that dopamine controls movement, and there's other aspects of it with mood and things like that. So that would be what would cause all these symptoms that they have.
I know, being an aging person myself, I feel all kinds of things not working like they used to work. And you always think about all these different things, but Parkinson's specifically, what are some of the first things you see that maybe say you should get help?
Yeah, so that's a great question because I think it's something that's overlooked. So a lot of times people with Parkinson's, one of their first symptoms is they're not swinging their arms when they're walking. And so a lot of people think, oh, I have a shoulder issue, but they're actually just not swinging their arms. They might lose some facial expression. Maybe they notice their handwriting starts to get a little bit smaller, things like that.
Oh, no kidding. Like you're...
Yes.
Because you're focusing down smaller?
It's just what happens because with Parkinson's, when we were talking about the loss of the dopamine cells, everything starts to get slower and smaller. So their movements are smaller. So they might shuffle their feet. They might, their speech might get quieter. So everything gets slower, more stiff and smaller.
I guess it's like a lot of things. I can't do 30 push-ups anymore, in 2 minutes.
Right.
So you do slow down anyway.
Right.
So how does this exercise and these activities benefit the folks that are slowing down at a faster rate?
With whether they have Parkinson's or not, really, exercise is one of the best things you can do, especially in Parkinson's. We notice if somebody stops exercising for a week or two,
big
they are
difference?
oh my gosh, absolutely. They're more stiff, maybe they're more slow, they're not thinking as clearly. And not only the movement part of it, but you saw all those people out there dancing together, they form a family.
Yeah, I'm sure if you get your mind going in the right direction too, power of the mind is really something too.
Yes, absolutely.
How about specific treatments like chemical treatments or drugs and that sort of thing?
Yeah, so we have a lot of medications that are available for Parkinson's, and there's more and more coming all the time. There's a lot of studies. There's also deep brain stimulation surgery, which is where they put the electrodes into the brain, and then we can program them to help some of their symptoms. There's something called focus ultrasound for somebody who, more has tremor. There's all kinds of treatments available. Everybody's different. Not everybody's going to respond to one treatment, but there are a lot available.
You made a lot of differences. So somebody, they tell you tomorrow, well, you have Parkinson's. They can tell you have Parkinson's. You might have. They can tell you have it. And what can they do? What do you do in the very beginning?
In the very beginning, I would encourage somebody to exercise. Some people are not ready to start medication, and that's okay. And sometimes there's studies for people who have not yet started medication. So getting involved in research early if they're interested, exercise. Stay positive, continue to do things that make them happy, that they enjoy. Don't let people, turn them into a disease instead of a person.
Right. Yeah, so to remain active and be yourself is probably the best medicine in the very beginning.
Yeah, I think so. And I think it's important, too, to find a provider that you trust that is going to look at you as a person and not just a disease.
Is it different for different people?
Absolutely. Oh my goodness. I'm glad you asked that because a lot of times people think with Parkinson's there's just tremor, but I have a lot of patients that don't have tremor at all. And so every disease is different. If we took a handful of people, gave them the disease on the same day, looked at them 10 years later, they're all going to look different. They're all going to respond to treatments different. So there's a lot of uniqueness when it comes to Parkinson's, which is part of what makes it challenging both for them and for us.
And there's been a lot of progress and a lot more hope.
Absolutely. I think, though, when I go back to the deep brain stimulation, when I think of where we were 20 years ago and where we are at now with deep brain stimulation, it is absolutely amazing. And there's so many really smart people working on cures and other treatments.
Standing ovation. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Hope folks got a lot out of that.